Big Questions with the Dead Milkmen.
Hey everybody, it's been a few weeks. Welcome to Big Questions with the Dead Milkmen. And we thought we'd pop on and talk about this week the the shows that we played at Underground Arts the weekend of February 17th and 18th in 2023. Maybe some of you watching this were there, and we hope you had a good time. I think we had a good time. We had a lot of fun. And we all took a little bit of video and some pictures, and we thought maybe we would try and share those with you tonight and maybe talk about the show a little bit, or the shows, and we'll see where this goes. So I'll start, and let's take a look at my video right now. And we're back. It's just about 2.5 minutes long. Of course, it snowed that weekend. I thought that snow would screw us up, but it turned out not to be too bad. And the club is very nice. If you've never been to the Underground Arts, I think it's one of my favorite places to play now in Philadelphia. And the staff there are really super nice, and the club is excellent.
Great sound.
They take good care of you. What's that?
Great sound system too.
Yeah, the sound system is awesome. And so, yeah, and you can see from my video, there's a really cool backstage area. You know, we had a good time. We had our friends Y-Die and F.O.D open up the show, and they were awesome. And it was great. It was a really good show. We had our friend Phil, who used to tour manage for us here and there over the past 10 years, and he came down from Boston to do that with us. So it was a lot of fun. I don't know. That's about all I have to say on it, really. Can we go to the next person? Maybe Rodney, you want to talk about the weekend?
I thought I was last, but I'll go next. Well, we'll get to why. I didn't really shoot any footage, and we'll get to that in a minute. Actually, right now, I didn't shoot any footage because to me, this is like my job. Like I don't sit there at my job, like going, oh my God, I'm sending out the Tuesday night reports to everybody, the leadership team. And then you see the leadership team waving, like, no, I'll get to what I shot later on, but it was great. Also the entire concert was up online by the time I got home each night. And so much so that and I'm bouncing all over the place here, but I had to work also over the weekend. So I was getting up, working, and then going to play the shows and everything. And then on Sunday, I got up and worked. And then Dan and I had discovered something on the one. And this is why it's my job. A lot of times it's not interesting stuff. It's like, is my stuff pushed back far enough that I won't kill 3 different bass players? I won't kill the bass player from Wide Eye, from F.O.D, or Dan. But we discovered these purple cables on stage will keep Dan alive because he's not tripping over my cables. I only had one of these the first night, so I had to get up and walk to the music store the next day. And I look like hell, people. I don't drink between the shows, but I was really tired. Because I was banged up and didn't sleep well the night before. I had to get up and work, and I was thinking, oh dear God, don't let anyone see me. Don't let anyone see me. I just look awful. I have my hooded thing over, my glasses. I get in, I get the cable. I'm 10 feet from my front door. So he goes, great show last night. And I'm like, were you there? No, I watched it online. So you can literally, there's a guy here in Philly, and we'll put up the thing for it. Dirty Movies 76 is his name. And he shoots all these shows. Twin Temple, who Vienna and I went to see. They played last night, and we couldn't see them last night, but the show was up on his stream like this morning. And I'm like, holy shit, Twin Temple. So that was pretty cool. So I like that happens. Quick thing. I know I'm bouncing all over. I got notes. I don't know if you can see this, folks, or not. Oh, look at, there you go. If you look against my black shirt, you can see that there's a Dead Milkmen logo in here. One of the things they did, because we sold it out 2 nights, and normally I'm not like all like, oh, it's cool, but this I did think was cool. There's a company called Stateside Vodka, and they gave us vodka with the Dead Milkmen logo etched into it, and these awesome glasses with the Dead Milkmen. And this has got some heft to it. This is good, like Sean Connery drinking glass. Like, oh, I have a bit of this now, mate. So that's that was awesome. And so it was great to see F.O.D. I've known Jim from F.O.D. I'm 60, almost 61. We met when I think I was about 16 or 17, reaching for the same album in the basement of 3rd Street Jazz. It was the soundtrack for Suspiria. So we talked about that. My buddy Mike Yak, one of my best friends, plays drums for Wide Eye. Chubb, who plays guitar in Wide Eye, tends bar at Tattoo Moms, which is a place you can always find me. So if you're looking for me, most people will send you to Crash Bang Boom or Tattoo Moms. It's just a weird thing. So like I say, I didn't shoot any video at the thing because I don't think I could have made it interesting. So what I did was I thought, well, here's something, I went out last weekend and I decided to make a context video. Now here's the thing. The video I made is 8 minutes long. So we're not going to pop it in here. It's out. It'll be out on my site, and it'll go live the same time that this video goes live. It's all about the neighborhood, which is the Eraserhood. So you get to see a lot about the underground arts, and you get to see the super weird area around the underground arts. Some of you may, if you were at the show, you may not know this, but you were a couple hundred yards away from where H.H. Holmes, America's first serial killer, claimed his first victim. And that's just one of the weird things about the area. So what I've got we'll show you now, is what's called a teaser video. Have you guys heard about these teaser videos that all the young kids are into? I came up with the idea. I saw a teaser video for this movie called Madam Web. I haven't seen Madam Web yet, because I imagine the lines are super long. But my God, I think this is going to be a critical and commercial success. So tell us in the comments section about how long you were in line to see Madam Web and how much you enjoyed the experience. It's going to be bigger than the Marvels, perhaps even bigger than Morbius. So this is my teaser video. It's 1 minute long. There's no narration in this, but there is, of course, narration in the full 8-minute video about the Eraserhood. So it's going right about now. we're back. So that is my teaser video, as the young people say. That's really, if you're interested, you can just follow the link that we'll put here. You can go out to my site. If you're not interested, you don't have to go watch it. But there is a guy who hates everything I do. And he comments regularly on my site, like just nitpicking stuff. And sometimes people have encouraged me to put in little things for him to complain about. So that's worth looking for right there. So that was my my take on the whole thing.
Thanks. Really cool. I look forward to seeing the whole video. Joe, tell us about your weekend experience.
I had a good time. I didn't really film too much video, and my video is kind of short. I meant to film more video than I did, but I kind of got caught up in the day, and just forgot to continue. So I got the beginning of each day, and I thought I would just do each day kind of chronologically and very brief, like a very brief synopsis. And then my friend Sergio also filmed a video of the band, so I got to be in the video too at the very end. So that's pretty much what I did. It's about 2 minutes long.
All right, let's take a look.
How you doing?
We didn't recognize me by the air. I was just making you close that door.
And we're back.
Well, I poured that tea for 2 minutes straight.
My video is sort of all out of order in terms of day and context, and I think Joe, yours, and Dan, yours, I think, are both sort of follow the timeline of the 2 days. Dan, you want to tell us about what you did?
Yeah, shot some video that we can watch here.
Look at that. Pop it up. Don't let people see my secret setup.
That's right. Remember to take video, boys.
Well, that's it. We can go.
Brown salad. Yeah, they're great. They're cover of boots.
So listen, just make this a rule. What time do you have?
I got 10:21.
So do I. So at 10:25.
Yeah.
We'll go.
Yeah.
So take me a couple of minutes if I get that, and I'll be ready. No problem.
Well, I don't even know the first song.
Hey,
4 minutes of your life you'll never get back.
yeah.
But yeah, I I don't know. I started to realize there wasn't much to shoot when I was like, okay, I got all the rooms back and people talking and the crowd, and so I was like, all right, let me get some footage of F.O.D playing, which is always great. But yeah, I had a great time. Like I had a lot of people that I saw that I haven't seen in a long time. A guy from high school that I hadn't seen him over 25 years.
Not still in high school, is he?
No, not anymore.
Okay, just want to make sure. Because I grew up in Coatesville, and Joe and I still run into guys like, hey, remember you from high school? What are you doing? I'm still in high school, still hoping to get to 11th grade.
I had a question for you, Dan. That there was a scene where you and Sean and Sergio are looking at like a wall that has stuff all over it. Where was that?
Yeah, that's like a block and a half from the club. It was right, let's see. It was right after like Hahnemann Hospital, like heading back to the club. We went to eat at some pizza place down the street. And on the walk back, I saw that and I was like, wow. And I just, I thought I would add that as like I guess because I didn't shoot much the second night. Most of it is from first night, but I don't know. I like getting like those crowd shots.
Yeah.
Yeah, to me, I'm always running around. I always see myself as like a front of house person at like a restaurant. Run to here, there. Is this fine? Is that? And then when I'm setting up, it's like a chef showing you preparing the meal. That's the way I tend to think of how. Yeah. So I never really have time to shoot anything. Plus, when they make a little documentary about the Eraserhood.
Yeah. Well, yeah, we were watching F.O.D and Wide Eye Saturday night, and then Sunday I was just kind of on the sides. I just saw so many people that I hadn't seen in a while, or that I knew and hadn't talked to in a little bit. And Woods was there, and I heard Woods shout like he did when he and I saw you guys at your last show with Dave at the truck, when you're saying life is shit. You're like, and we sing, and Woods went life like before you say life, and he did that again that night last week.
We'll get to him because I hung out with him the other day.
He's a good guy.
Yeah.
Did anybody see the photo that my wife posted? No, my wife had her hip replaced at like 2.5 or 2 years ago.
And
And
I am always glad to see Dean's wife because she is one of the funniest people I know. So.
there's some space on either side of the stage where, especially on the one side, where they have some chairs set up for folks that, might be in a wheelchair or
Oh
maybe
God, this.
standing for a whole show. So she was all set and she got a seat there to sit down to watch the show from the side. And she said she had a great view. And then we started playing, and this guy stood up right in front of her and everybody else in that area and like took video and and he didn't sit down the whole time. I looked over and I was like, who is that guy? Who is that guy? Sit down. You're not supposed to be standing over there.
Dean, to be fair, he actually couldn't stand until we did Serrated Edge, and I had my hand up, and suddenly he was healed. It was a miracle. Yeah, people, if you come to one of our shows and you block people who can't stand, you won't be able to stand later on. We will make sure. It's like the person who takes the handicap space, and you're like, okay, well, you're going to need that space if you weren't before, because we will bang you up. Yeah, that was horrible.
Yeah.
I didn't know about that until Melissa told me. I was like, no. Yeah,
Well,
don't do that, people.
those
Dean,
are
if you have
cool.
that photo, post that.
Yeah, I will. I'm gonna include that. Well, great videos, everybody. I think, we all were kind of a little distracted because there were so many people we knew there, and we were just kind of like talking to everybody and having a good time being with our friends and stuff. And so it was a really good, like, hometown shows for us. So it was a lot of fun. Shall we go on to recommendations?
Yay, I missed those. I got a lot of them.
I just have one tonight, and somebody tipped me to a website. It looks like a university website. It's got an edu domain attached to it, and it looks like a project that somebody had to do for like their computer programming class, maybe. But what it is it's a safety sign generator. Okay, and so you go to this site, and it has basic form. There's no like style to it or anything. And you can pick a signal word like caution, notice, warning, or danger. And then they have these two little squares where you click on it and up pops this selector for all kinds of pictograms that you would see on safety signs, like, the guy falling into the macadam and everything. And then there's a field where you can type some stuff in and make your own sign, and you can click generate, and then it will generate like a full browser screen version of your sign. And then of course you could save it off. And so I did a couple. I actually included one that a friend of mine did. I'll credit him. And I would encourage people to go there, and would love to see some examples from you guys too if you check it out. So it's the safety sign generator. I'll provide the URL, and I hope you guys check it out.
We've been away for a while, so I've got a buttload of recommendations. The first one is called Delicious in Dungeon, which you can watch, not Dungeons, Dungeon, singular. You'll find out why in a second. Which you can watch on Netflix. This is old school Japanese animation. So it's the sort of thing where people go, ha ha ha, ha, oh, and it's but it's a new thing, and it's basically Dungeons and Dragons, old school Dungeons and Dragons, where nowadays people say, wait a minute, why are the kobolds living so close to the orcs? This is back when you would, there'd be an underwater section and then some orcs and then like this gothic section. And the thing that makes this different is they eat the monsters, which been playing D&D for 50 years or something, never thought we can eat the monsters. So not only do they eat the monsters, but they show you how they prepare the monsters that they eat. So they have these different, recipes, and then they'll show you like slime beast, served with a side of this or that steamed. Really, really entertaining. Nice little smart ass halfling in it. So I do recommend that. And I'd like to thank the guys that we have a technical for telling me all about it. So I watch the hell out of that show every Thursday, new episode. Up next, it's as you might know, a new season of Hanging with Dr. Z, which is one of my favorite YouTube shows ever, is back on the air. Now, watch that, but I'm also going to recommend go to the Hanging with Dr. Z website, and Rusty Steele has his own page, and it's comedy gold. There's a whole thing about how Rusty Steele had come up with Ice Ice Baby for Jerry Lewis for the telethon to go, nice, nice lady, as he helped Toady Field. If you people don't know who Toady Field is, you're probably much younger than I am, which it's okay because it's a horrifying joke, and it just turns into one of the darkest things ever. So yeah, go seek out Meet Rusty Steele, and we'll give you the link to that on the Hanging with Dr. Z page, which is gold itself.
I think the Milkmen get name dropped this season in Dr. Z.
What's that?
I think we get name dropped in.
We got name dropped last season. Season. The one I thought was a repeat. And I was like, because I would watch them when they came out, I was like, oh, that's a repeat. I guess a repeat already. And I went back and it's like, oh, I'm like, oh yeah. There's also Charles Nelson Riley appeared in the latest episode. I think that show is sending us secret messages, fellas. And then I want to recommend, I have a friend who is a comedian, JT Habersaat, who I was just hanging out with Dan's cousin, and we went to go see JT, and he was fantastic. He told what is now one of my favorite jokes ever, a bit of comedy involving, I'll give you something to cry about, that was genius. And he was really, really funny. He's opening for Brian Posehn, who is the guy you might know from the Sarah Silverman show. He was involved in the tribute to 9/11, which is one of the most beautifully tasteless things I've ever seen. So yeah, if you, JT Habersaat, he's out on tour. If you can go see him, because like I like really, really dark comedy, and if you like really, really dark comedy, that's the show for you. So those are my recommendations.
I have a couple of recommendations. One's a docudrama. It's on Netflix, and it's called Einstein and the Bomb. It takes place when Einstein, after he flees Nazi Germany, he's living in a hut in England, and then eventually moves to Princeton University. And his story is sort of told. It's basically told in his own words from letters that he wrote, and so it's a lot of his own dialogue. But there's also flashbacks, not in chronological order, to his childhood and his time in Germany. And it's basically about him grappling with the fact that his contribution to physics may have led to the development of atomic weapons. And it's pretty well done. I recommend it.
Did they include the line from Idiocracy? Do you think Einstein walked around thinking everybody was a dumb shit? And then I guess I never thought about it. And she goes, that's why he built that bomb.
Yeah. That's
Great.
That's pretty funny. But the other thing I want to recommend is a documentary called the Mojo Manifesto. And I don't know if we might have recommended this on the show before, but I just recently watched it after Mojo passed away. It's the life and times of Mojo Nixon, and it's told not in chronological order, but it jumps around, but it's kind of well done. And the Dead Milkmen make an appearance in it of all people.
He left. He quit.
I would recommend Grimm's Complete Fairy Tales. I guess you don't need them complete, but this is good for some nighttime reading out loud to yourself or a loved one. They're really weird. They were like weirder than you think. Like some of them that turned into Disney movies are like pretty tame. Not in the like the Little Red Riding Hood story is really weird, and the Cinderella story is there's some like surreal stuff in it. But I got that like man, Barnes and Noble probably in like the mid 90s. It's just one of those books, you know, it's got like this kind of pages with
Fancy.
So,
Yeah,
Grim Fairy. I'm just saying, yeah, I recommend reading some Grimm fairy tales.
Yeah, they didn't start out as children for stories. The Brothers Grimm collected German folk tales. After Napoleon invaded, I was a poli-sci major, invaded Germany, they wanted to make sure to preserve these German folk tales. So Hansel and Gretel is actually a tale of in the Middle Ages, people would send their children out to the woods to either be eaten by animals or pass away from exposure because it was easier for them than starving because famine had hit Germany. So that's that's a real upbeat kind of thing. There's some great things you can find on YouTube about the sort of the medieval history of like Hansel and Gretel, and it's nightmare material. So Joe mentioned Mojo Nixon, folks. Our friend Mojo did pass away, but while we were on the little break, and I was searching for a story that I could tell about him at work. Most of my stories about Mojo Nixon are not safe for work, but this is my favorite story. We were hanging out in a hotel room, a whole bunch of us, and we were watching TV at like 2 a.m. And Mojo would bet on anything, and Mojo would bet what the next commercial was going to be. It's like, I bet it's going to be one of them 900 sex lines, or it'd be like, I bet it's going to be some ambulance chasing lawyer, and I would lose every time betting, but. Mojo, you could win your money back. All you had to do was say, like, I would be down like a couple $100 and I would get it all back. I'd never make any money, but I get it all back by saying, yeah, but Mojo, I bet you the next ad isn't going to be Boxcar Willie. Anyway, you little milk midget, you're wrong. It's going to be Boxcar Willie. It's good. And you would get it all back. Like, I'll bet you everything you've won from me. No, it's good. And it's like 5 years after Boxcar Willie, they stopped showing the ads. But it's one of my favorite stories about him. And, somebody was recently asking me, and that was one of the ones that popped right to mind.
Yeah, didn't they? The Underground Arts had some special drinks. In fact, you had a good one, Rodney.
I had the Mojito, which Mike Yak warned me about. Mike Yak. So I don't drink. Because I'm at work, but when it was done, I said, you know what? They had a bitch and Camaro, but one of the drinks they had, they have different drinks each night. I go to the Underground Arts a lot, and every time I go there, they have different cocktails for the different acts. So I was like, you know what? In honor of my late friend, I'm going to have a Mojito Nixon. And I had a Mojito Nixon, and Mike Yak was like, Rodney, careful, these things sneak up on you. And they go down really smooth, and I drank 3 of them. Got home and realized that they had just snuck up on me and I was toasted. I was like, So yeah, the Mojito Nixon, but all the cocktails. Underground Art always has great cocktails. The young lady tending bar was the one who usually designs them, but the Mojito Nixon was the first one ever designed by one of their bartenders. And he was really proud of it. And I drank 3 of them. Are we done?
Thanks, everybody.
I got questions once we're done. All right. Well, next week it's me, and it's going to be controversial.